Hey everybody, welcome to Pottery USA. I'm Jen and I'm also Burlap Buddha, and Kevin asked me to make some tutorials, some simple how-tos using Pottery USA pancake dies, impression dies, and other tools that we sell. So this one is going to be on pancake dies 1110.1, 1110.2, 1123.1, and shot plate set, SP025. It's the little bitty flowers. It's the forget-me-not set. So let's get started. Start cleaning up our flowers. And for that, everybody uses different tools. Just keep that in mind. I'm not telling you to buy these tools. This is just what I do. I'm sure you have stuff in your shop that you can use that will work just as well. Let me remind you again what we're doing. These little bitty flowers on the piece that I shot yesterday. So these are from the shot plate set SP025. And there's little bitty ones. Yeah, got 3 of these and 1 of the bigger one. So I use a square file, square needle file, a round needle file, and a medium bastard. So I don't like a handle on the bastard because I like to lay it on the table. I'll show you later. I like to lay it on the table and flatten the bottom so that when I'm soldering I can get a good join and it's clean metal. So here we go. Alright, so here's my little flowers all cleaned up, and the next step is to clean up the pendant. So this is after working on the front a little bit. That's my front, this is my back. So I took the sharp edges off the back, and this is my front. So the next piece I work is this one. So here's the piece. I assembled it again so you could kind of get an idea of what the finished product is going to look like. This is the time I get to see what it might be. The one thing remaining is our cab. So we're going to put some bezel wire around this. We're going to shape it. We're going to solder the bezel wire together, and then we're going to start soldering. Bezel wire is pretty simple. It's easy to bend with your fingers. And you just want to bend the bezel wire around the bottom of the stone. Follow the stone. I work my own stone, so I'm not a perfect, 5 millimeters high and 5 millimeters wide stone kind of girl. I like a little ununiformity. I like an older look to my pieces. Kind of a relic is what I'm after. I like a relic look. So I'm not after perfection. So bezel is always custom on my pieces. I can't buy little bezels and pop them in. So I've got it all the way around the piece, and I'm going to cut it a little bit longer so that I can size it. If I can find my scissors. There they are. So this is my bezel wire. There. And cut it a little bit longer. Better safe than sorry. Okay. I tend to make my bezel wire pretty tight. It's a pretty tight fit. I don't like my stones to go anywhere, and I hate using glue, you guys. I don't believe in glue. It's just a personal thing. I don't know. I feel like you got it out of a 25-cent machine if I use glue on it. So I don't like to use glue. So I really like my bezels to be secure. Okay. I'm going to mark where I want to cut next. Give myself a little bit of extra room and cut. Check your size a lot, keep going back to your stone, check your size, see how much extra room you have. You want a little wiggle room, but not a lot. I have a little too much wiggle room. So this is my wiggle room right here. I don't know if you can see that. Wiggle room. I can't get my phone to magnify, so this is what I got. So I'm going to cut about a ½ millimeter more off. And then I like to file the edges a little bit. It just, since I'm a left-handed person, I don't know if this is just me or all you guys, but I can't cut a straight line to save my life. So I file. I like my files. If you do make a bezel and you have crooked ends, you're going to get a narrow end and a wide end. So if you had crooked edges to begin with, you're going to get more, not a pronounced cone, but definitely you're going to your bezel is going to go like that if you have crooked ends to begin with. So you want flat, straight edges. Flat, straight edges. See? See it? Okay. And looks pretty good. Let's solder. So here's my bezel. And the next thing I did after I filed was take some needle nose pliers and kind of flatten both these edges. Since you cut them and you file them, they're kind of bent. And if you're going to use thin wire like this, it's a good idea to take your needle nose and kind of flatten it out. So you see I've got a pretty good join there. It's meeting, it's touching. You can even, it doesn't have to be the exact shape of the rock when you're soldering, because once that edge is soldered, you can reshape it to your rock. So here we go. So the next thing you do is put flex on. I use Handy Flex. You can also use Cuprinol, this stuff, Cuprinol. Rio Grande sells them both. A lot of places sell them. So see the flex on the join. I heat the flex up and then put the solder on and heat again. And if you heat uniformly but not too much, you'll get a good join, because these melt really easily. So be careful. Next thing I do is look at my solder join, and I want to make sure that no light is shining through my solder join. If there is light, I need to resolder. Also, when I'm soldering, I have learned by trial and error that I need a good contact point between my base I'm soldering onto and my bezel. So I want to make sure that there's a real snug, no gap right there. Real snug fit, and it looks pretty good. I gotta check all the way around, make sure there's no gaps, because solder is not a gap filler. It absolutely does not fill gaps. It will run to contact points and heat, but it will not fill gaps very well. So looks pretty good. Here's the piece after it's been in the pickle, and the way I know all the glass is gone is all that extra coloration is gone. It's just pure silver now, and I also learned if your pieces are still sticking pretty good, and they are, after you've pickled it, then you've done a good job soldering. So everything seems to be on there solid. Next up, I take a brass brush and Dawn soap to it. This is what I use for patina. I like it. It's Griffith's Silver Black. It's just liver of sulfur. And just kind of paint it where you want it. We're almost done! Yay! I'm going to polish now. This is what I use to set a very smooth, shiny surface, because the reason these are so smooth and shiny is because it burnishes the metal while you're rubbing against it and gives your bezel a shine. So let's see what we got here. You start at one side of the cab and push in, and then go to the opposite side and push in, and then another side, and then another side, and then work your way around. Rub it. That way it smooths out the edges of your silver. Hi everybody. So hopefully by now you're wearing your finished piece. I hope you learned something in my video. I'm trying to keep it short, but if you want details, then it's going to be a bit longer. So I'm working on it, and stay tuned for more action to come.